Yes, welcome to the Purple Positivity Podcast for July the 30th, 2018. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my new used desk in my apartment, which I call Jeffrey Thistlework. And I'm actually trying something new today. So when I listen back to this, I'll decide whether or not it actually worked. I say it like it's something big. I just set a pillow right in front of me to kind of absorb some of the sound, so maybe it sounds a little less echoey. Because, you know, if you haven't figured this out by now, either because you listen to this show for God only knows what reason, or because this is your first time listening, this is not a professional podcast, okay? I'm not a professional podcaster. I am not an audio editing wizard. I'm a crazy lady with purple hair, headphones, and a mic, and an iPad, okay? And a lot to say, apparently. So we'll see how this pans out, and then if it actually sounds incrementally better, then I'm going to keep that pillow right there, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I sound better. I'm laughing at myself. So now instead of directing my remarks and my stories to the wall, I'm directing them to the pillow. Okay. Enough, Becca, enough. So, I wanna tell y'all being whoever is listening to this, a wonderful story that happened on Saturday. I had a visitation with my son at one of the Sonics here in town, and he was playing on the playground. We've been, running around and pretending to dig up dinosaur bones, and he had this monster truck, and he got like this mini monster truck, toy of Gravedigger monster truck, and he had gotten it earlier in the week, and he was showing it off to me on FaceTime, and he goes, you have to take pictures of it. And I said, well, I can't take pictures of it right now. He says, no, Mommy, you have to take pictures of it and send it to your friend, which is, all caps someone. Like, I don't say all caps someone's real name, to protect his privacy for now. But my son knows his name, so he's like, you have to take these pictures, and send them to your friend. And I was like, I can't do that right now. So how about this? I'm going to see you on Saturday, so bring your truck. So anyway, so we'd been running around this playground and playing, and I took pictures of his truck, and I took videos of him climbing all over this jungle gym and sent them to all caps someone, and all sorts of cool stuff. And we've been there for about an hour, and this other little boy and his older brother, or a person that I assume was his older brother, could have been his older cousin or something, they show up and they start playing, and immediately my son sees this little boy, and he goes, that's my best friend, Mommy. And he starts playing with this little boy, making friends. This little boy, his name was Adrian. And on this playground, it's a really cool playground. Like, it's a really cool setup that they've got at this Sonic. Lots of climbing things. Well, there's sort of like this climbing rope. Like, it's hard to explain. It's like, if you have one of those rope net type things that you can climb up. I think they use them in basic training, that, it's sort of like squares of rope, except instead of it actually being rope, it's like, metal covered in plastic. Much more sturdy and able to handle lots of kids climbing it over extended periods of time. Well, this little boy, Adrian, his brother or cousin or whatever, was trying to show him how he could climb up, how he, the brother, could climb up this rope thing, and then he jumped down and he said, okay, you try. And Adrian got a little ways up, and then he got scared, and he didn't want to go down. And his father goes, "Oh no, that's okay. You know, you might be a little too small, but you'll be able to do it someday. It'll be good." Well, Gabriel, being just a little bit old, or just a little bit older, a little bit younger than Adrian, looks over and he goes, "I can climb that." And I think part of it was he just wanted to show off. You know, like boys tend to do, like, "Oh, you can't do that? Well, I can do that. Look at me, alpha male," right? But here's the kicker of that. Gabriel, my son, climbs up this rope thingy and gets to the top, and he yells down at Adrian, "Come on, you can do it too." So I don't think it was much of, you know, look at me, I'm the alpha child here. It was more about, if I can do it, you can do it. And Adrian, poor little Adrian, he was so scared. He was so scared. He didn't think he could do it. But he had watched Gabriel do it. And Gabriel went down a slide, and he said, "Here, I'll do it with you." And so the two boys, they climb up this rope thing, and they get on this playground, and I look up at them, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you boys are so brave. That's awesome." And, you know, because I like to encourage good behavior, right? Gabriel has heard for most, if not all, of his life that he is a brave boy. I have made sure to plant these words in his head, all the good things about himself, repeatedly. So he kind of like looks down at me. He's like, "Yeah," you know, as though to say, "What's your point, mother?" Right? But Adrian, I don't know if no one had ever told him this, or he'd never really believed it of himself, but he looks down at me, he goes, "I am brave, aren't I?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, and this kid just like lit up. And you could, you know, this rope bridge climbing thing that 5 minutes earlier Adrian had been terrified of climbing. Now that was his favorite thing to do. And he'd go grab Gabriel and say, "Hey, let's do this again." And there are other things to climb. They've got sort of like on this playground, sort of like a rock climbing wall, like mini rock climbing wall. And so Gabriel was showing Adrian how to climb that wall too, and and all the cool things that he could do on this playground. And Adrian was getting really excited and feeling really good about himself. And he kept repeating over and over and over again, "I'm brave, look at me, I'm brave." And I went, "Yes." And I really wish I would have had the opportunity to pull this child, Adrian. I wish I had been able to pull him aside, give him a hug. I don't know if his family would have appreciated that, but I really wanted to hug this child and look him in the eye and say, "Listen to me, Adrian. If you can be brave one time, you can be brave forever. Because you were brave once. You can do anything that you believe you can do." And I wanted to say that to him so bad, but I never got that chance. It was shortly, I guess about 45 minutes later, my son got hungry, so we ordered some lunch, and we ate it, and of course he had to play with his toy from the kids' meal, and it was a good day. Like, I had a really great time, but Adrian stuck in my head all weekend long, and I was listening to "You Are a Badass" by Jen Sincero again. I'm still incrementally working my way through this book. Not because it isn't a good book, but because I'm having a really hard time focusing these days, especially at work. Under those fluorescent lights, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep all day long. It is so hard for me to get through the workday sometimes. So, anyway, so I was listening to So I can listen to a couple of chapters at a time out of You Are a Badass. And I was listening to one chapter, I think it was chapter 19 or something. And Jen talks about something called the crab effect. And it's this idea that if you put a bunch of crabs in a bowl together, the crabs, it'll be total chaos and they'll be like writhing all over each other. But as soon as one crab gets to the top and looks like it's going to escape the chaos and escape the bowl, the other crabs will actively work to pull the crab on top back down and prevent it from getting out. Because if they can't get out, he's not getting out. Or she. Hashtag feminism, right? But that's the crab effect. That rather than supporting somebody who wants to better their lives, we pull them down to our level. And I actually posted about this on Facebook a couple of times, once on my timeline and once in a group. And my thoughts on this, I was thinking about Adrian and I was thinking about his brother. And see, his brother didn't want him to feel bad, didn't want him to feel hurt, didn't want him to get hurt. And I understand that. I believe that his brother came from a genuine place of love and concern and compassion. But in a passive-aggressive sort of way, he was actually pulling Adrian back down. Instead of encouraging him to push himself, to challenge himself, to be brave. And instead it took a child younger than Adrian, my son Gabriel, to lift him up, to encourage him, to get him to the top. Oh, I know y'all can't tell by listening to this show, but like 1 second ago as I finished that last sentence, my alarm went off, which pauses the recording. But it freaked me out and I just near about jumped out of my skin. So I'm already having a hard time breathing for whatever reason. Now add on top of that I just got the bejeebers scared out of me because I have no concept of time. Whew. Okay. So moving on. But I mean, how many times do we ourselves do that? You know, and we do it from a genuine place of love. And a genuine place of, I don't want to see you get hurt. But when we have that, okay. If I were to take out a big loan to start a business, my family would lose their minds. They would lose their freaking minds. And, and it's not because they don't want me to succeed. Theoretically, they do. But their first reaction is going to be, are you sure? What if you can't pay that off? What if your business tanks? What if you can't do this? What if? Are you sure this is a good idea? And they will question everything.